Go for it.
Okay. So you're standing in front of Asteroids Deluxe, the 1981 sequel to Asteroids, which was the big breakout hit of 1980. Put in those quarters. Let's see what's going on.
All right, let's do it. I appreciate the roll of quarters. I didn't get that as a kid.
Yeah, none of us did, trust me.
I've been saving up my lunch money all
Okay,
week just for this
let's
moment.
see how long you last.
Yes, let's. All right.
So, now, for those not initiated, you've played Asteroids before, but you never played Asteroids Deluxe, right?
Yeah, no, this is my first time. I didn't even know there was multiple versions.
Oh yeah, yeah. Asteroids Deluxe is the first sequel. We would get two more, I believe Space Rangers, and then later in 1987 Blasteroids, and of course a billion clones. But those are the official Atari arcade releases. It's a hard game, isn't it?
Yeah, I already got a game over. I don't even think I had a live off of that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is one of the reasons why they released Asteroids Deluxe. It's the whole idea of this game is uh, people got way too good at the original Asteroids, especially the lurking exploit, you could almost argue it was the first version of camping in a game. Where people would just lurk on one side of the screen because the UFO, which comes by and shoots occasionally and is worth a bunch of points. Well, that one would always just shoot at you in a direct line across the screen. So it would always only go after you uh, across the screen real estate, even though your ship can disappear off the side of the screen and reappear on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And well, the strategy was then just hang out on the opposite side of where the UFO is. That way, it was easy to dodge the shots, but at the same time, you still could get a good shot off at the UFO by taking advantage of the fact that you could just shoot a very short distance um, off screen to hit the UFO instead of having to shoot the long distance across the screen like the UFO had to.
Right.
Well, in Asteroids Deluxe, they've solved that problem.
Yes,
Now the
very
UFO
clearly.
can shoot at you using the shortcut through the warp side of the screen, and yeah, you're gonna die a
Yeah, that was
lot.
another game over.
Well, and the whole deal here is this was about how do we maximize profits on this game? How do we get even more? Now, granted, they gave you that wonderful little shield, which wasn't in the original Asteroids,
Yeah, that's
but
interesting. You bounce when it hits you. You bounce.
yeah, yeah. So the physics are still there. It's calculating that physics response, which is really cool. Um, but yeah, it's not going to save you properly.
Right.
Uh, yeah, so it's still a game all about avoiding all the tiny little things. And I mean these are as small a speck as you can get on a screen, really, the
Yeah.
shots.
Yeah, I'm a sucker
Which
for these vector games because the shots are probably just points that it's calculating, and then the asteroids are made
yeah,
up of lines and dots.
exactly. And the raster originally for the original asteroids, one of the
Oh,
reasons they
game
did
over.
oh sorry, dude.
No, you're good.
Keep
Please
throwing
talk over
quarters
my.
in, keep throwing
Yeah,
quarters.
please talk over my misery. I appreciate it. Don't pay attention to me.
Yeah, so one of the main reasons for the raster screen, for the XY screen, not raster screen, the XY screen in the original game
Hmm.
was that piracy of arcade games was growing rapidly in the late 70s, early 80s. So if a hit game came out, it wouldn't be more than sometimes a couple of weeks before pirated versions of that game or clones of that game would be appearing from other smaller manufacturers. And as long as you were using standard raster screens and standard chips, like for example, this game is running off of the 6502C chip, which is a slight variant of the MOS 6502, which was the same thing powering the Apple II, the Commodore PET, and the and
Oh.
the soon to be released VIC-20. So it's a very standard chip. It's easily reproducible. Everything's using it. The Atari 8-bit computers are using it. So it was a cheap hardware to reproduce, but what you couldn't reproduce cheaply was the XY screens. And as long as it was hard to get a hold of those, not a problem.
Yeah, I could also see the vector screens being a draw for providing a unique experience versus Johnny Giant Pixel that's sitting next to these guys. Like, this is just great. I love these games.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, the one downside to them at this point is, of course, the fact that they are still monochrome. They will
Yes.
solve that problem in later games, but right now they're still monochrome. And this is also why we get this really interesting layout with the background image, which obviously we're doing this through emulation. You don't get the full effect. And I will put a link to a video in the show notes where somebody's dissecting one of these cabinets so you get a better idea.
Ooh, I want to
But
see that.
yeah, it's awesome. The front glass, which is where we have that bezel with the white and red artwork and the description of the game and so forth, that's one piece of glass in the front. And then the actual game is on an inclined piece of two-way mirror glass, which is reflecting the screen that's actually underneath. So the screen is actually facing
Ooh.
upward, and the behind the two-way mirror is a curved piece of cardboard that has the artwork that you see, and that is actually being illuminated by a partial black light. And on top of that, there's also some of the asteroid stones are actually on the inclined glass that the picture that the video game is actually being reflected off of to create an additional three-dimensional effect. So when you're actually playing this, every little movement of your head is moving certain elements around and creating a really cool 3D effect. So we're running into the last few seconds.
Yeah, 15 seconds left. 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get one more asteroid before it's over.
Come on, you can do it. You can
Yeah.
do it.
I
Yeah.
can see the green on the background. That's gotta look crazy with a black light on it. That's
Oh yeah, yeah.
oh, and
Beautiful,
that's
beautiful
time.
assist. Uh, so how many credits did you go through?
Oh, I don't even want to pull it up. I don't know if I can. At least 10. At least 10. I got a pretty good game over. If you're counting at home, don't tell me. Keep it to yourself. This was really cool. I appreciate the exposure to this too. This again because I only knew about the original asteroids, and I've played one of those cabinets in a random arcade, but I might have to seek this one out. Give it a
Oh,
try.
dude, yeah. I've also only played it, I believe, once or twice, but way, way back in the day. And you don't find them too often nowadays. I mean, it wasn't nearly as successful as the original Asteroids,
Hmm.
but at the same time, it's one of those games that exemplifies the fact that a sequel to an arcade game back then was primarily just an update to kill off any kind of easy gameplay loop breaking features. Because remember, these games still gave you bonus lives when you died or I got enough score. So
Right.
this lurking mode actually helped. People could play for hours and hours and hours just by racking up points and getting extra lives. And by increasing the difficulty, you basically increase the earnings dramatically,
I bet
at
arcade
least in the
owners love
short run.
that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but the problem is it also it starts eating into the newbies. The
Oh,
newbies are going
true.
to get discouraged, and this becomes a pull and tug in the arcades. But we'll talk about that when we get to the arcade crash in a couple of years. But okay, that's enough with this. Let's get back to the show.
Yeah, let's switch over. See you in a sec.
Okay.